The village of Dalpur follows a single rigid rule: no one goes near the river after 11 p.m. The locals don't cite the threat of animals or criminals, but rather the woman in black, a figure they claim emerges only after the sun has fully set. You won't find this ritual in any book or temple archive. It exists purely in the warnings passed between villagers, who describe it not as a haunting, but as a specific sequence of events that, once initiated, supposedly cannot be stopped until the morning. In 2019, a college student named Aarav arrived in Dalpur to document the story for his YouTube channel. To a skeptic who made a career out of debunking ghost videos, the village's fear looked like an opportunity for content. The locals claim the danger is dormant until someone provides consent. By crossing the threshold of the abandoned bungalow by the water, Aarav provided the ritual with its necessary starting point. He walked into the house alone, filming the entire process. He viewed the warnings as superstition, but the ritual operates on participation, not belief. Inside, his camera captured a space that appeared intentionally staged. The air smelled of rot, and the walls were covered in strange symbols drawn in blood, surrounding circles of gray ash on the floor. This top-down view of the main room shows how the space was organized. The ash forms a perimeter around the floor, while dozens of black threads are pulled from the corners of the room to meet at a single point in the center. Aarav noticed a detail that conflicted with the house's abandoned state. Scattered throughout the room were candles lit so recently that the wax was still liquid. As he moved deeper into the house, the camera's microphone caught a change in the environment. Faint whispers began to emerge from the static, repeating his name with increasing clarity. These sounds weren't echoing through the halls. They appeared to clearly originate from the dark corners he had just left, nudging him away from the front door and toward the staircase. Aarav followed a sound of dragging footsteps to a locked upstairs door. When pushed open, he found a room glowing with hundreds of candles, centered on a figure sitting perfectly still under a heavy black veil. As he approached with the camera, the light revealed a mass of black threads tied tightly around the woman's neck, forming a thick knotted band that appeared to be part of her clothing. When Aarav spoke, she pointed behind him. He turned to look, but she had vanished. Then every candle went out. The whispers that had been following him through the house suddenly intensified, sounding as if they were being spoken directly into the camera's microphone. The atmosphere in the room shifted. The dread was no longer just a reaction to the darkness. It had become something tangible. Aarav tried to run, but his camera caught a new detail. A coarse black thread had appeared around his wrist, tied in a knot that wasn't there seconds before. The thread snapped taut, pulling his arm upward toward the ceiling. The footage shows him being dragged backward, his feet scrambling for grip as he was pulled back toward the ritual room. He was no longer just documenting the event. He was physically integrated into the house's architecture. The camera, still recording, shows the final room. 12 figures in black robes stand in a perfect circle around the veiled woman. Her head is tilted at a sharp, unnatural angle, as if her neck had been broken. One of the figures declared that the final thread is ready. On that cue, the entire group turned simultaneously to face Aarav. The video ends with the sound of the camera hitting the floor. There was a brief, muffled scream, followed by 60 seconds of silence before a woman's voice whispers into the microphone, "Now he belongs to her." When police entered the house 3 days later, they found no evidence of a struggle. There were no footprints in the dust, no cult members, and no signs that anyone had lived there for decades. The only physical evidence was the camera itself, lying in the center of the room next to a thick black thread. The thread was wet and had been cleanly snipped. According to the villagers, those taken by the ritual are never found because they never leave the house. They become part of the next cycle, waiting in the dark for the next person to cross the threshold. The black thread ritual doesn't seem to have an end. It simply waits.